Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim. Welcome back to the flooded area here in North Georgia, Cumming, Georgia, at Bald Ridge Creek Campground. Down to my last few hours before I bail out of here back to sunny South Florida, Sarasota, baby. Beautiful Sarasota. So I promised you guys I'd make a video regurgitating, which is what we all do on YouTube, because we get our information from somewhere. Either what somebody else said, what we read, the internet, whatever. Our teachers, neighbor, whatever. So this is to share with my community what I feel to be pretty well true. So we're in a state of an economy here in the United States. And this is a very good time coming up and not such a good time. Personally, I think our future's in the past, but you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But anyway, let's get on the serious note about finance. So Jerome Powell is the head of the Federal Reserve, of which it's not a federal agency, and they have no reserves. But there's a group of these bankers that call themselves the Federal Reserve, and they dictate as to how much money is printed by quantitative easing. And then they dictate how much money they burn and pull out of the system and raise rates by quantitative tightening. So we are about to go into coming off of quantitative tightening, and the Federal Reserve is going to drop the interest rate, the prime rate, another likely, nobody knows exactly till the 29th, but it's likely going to be another quarter point, 25 basis points. They will continue this trend, most likely, from my regurgitated information, for the next several months, of which then they will go back to what they have been doing since 2023, and that is hiking rates to bring inflation down to 2%, of course, which we know they've never done, and inflation was never 4 or 6 or 8%. It's more like 10 or 15 or 20% from what we remember. I mean, unless you've got amnesia. So you can't believe any of these numbers. You can't believe anything they say regarding the labor market, how many jobs are created, because every time they say they created 1 million jobs, they come back and revise it and say, oh, there was only 72 jobs created. And I'm being facetious there, but that's kind of how stupid it is. But anyway, what will happen and has been happening in our economy forever is there is what they call lag effect. You know, you do something, action gets reaction. And so when they started raising interest rates to, after they printed all that money during the pandemic, right? They just turned the printing presses on. Trillions of dollars. More money was printed than's ever been printed in the history of America. And all the currency out there, we printed more during the pandemic than's ever been printed before. And so it was just raining dollars. And corporations and things were getting all this money. And then what do you think happens when everybody's moneyed up and got tons of it in their pocket? It's falling out of their billfolds. People charge more money for stuff. Interest rates are low, and so they buy things. And so the supply and demand works where, hey, there's a short supply because everybody's got plenty of money. Everybody's buying these up. All these refrigerators are in short supply, so we're going to raise the price. Then the opposite takes effect. They raise interest rates. And people that need to get a loan for a refrigerator or a car or a home, they're like, oh, tap the brakes. That makes my mortgage payment, that makes my Home Depot payment really high. So people don't spend, and that's how they get inflation down. It's just a game. But rather than letting the country, do its own correction, let the weak dominoes fall, and then let the new growth come up. They don't want to do that. No. They say, no. We'll just print money every time a bank's getting ready to fail, the stock market might crash, housing market might crash. We'll just print more money. And so we're kicking the can down the road. We all know there's $37 trillion in debt. Our debt, there's not even hardly enough money coming in that people are paying taxes of all the taxpayers, hardly to pay the dang interest rate every year on the debt we have. They're talking about us being responsible, us paying our bills, us having a good credit rating, us this and that. And meanwhile, they can't. They're so irresponsible. And now there's a government shutdown, and who's getting paid? They are, but other people aren't. Some government people are, but it's just, you can't believe them, folks. But what you can believe is the rates are going to be coming down. Trump wants them down. Jerome Powell's on his last leg before he's out of here anyway in 26. He's going to be gone. And under pressure, he's reducing, and he shouldn't, because things are still way too high. We need to bring inflation down more. But he's going to drop these rates. The printing presses are already started. I think it started about 45 minutes ago. And trillions of dollars are going to be printed. And here's what's going to happen. People are going to start buying houses. Any house that's available, because even though the Federal Reserve does not dictate a mortgage rate or even a car loan rate, it kind of goes with it though. So as the prime rate from the Federal Reserve is what the banks charge each other to loan money. It has nothing to do with you, but it does. So obviously, if they get it down, that's going to make it available for banks to extend mortgages for a little lower. Now, mortgages were up to 8% in 23. And now they're like 6.5%, 7%. So if these rates come down over the next 4 to 6 months, which are likely to happen from what I've regurgitated and heard, I watched the guy that had the crystal ball. Anyway, this will give an opportunity to those people in 23 that bought at 8% to refinance and drop their mortgage considerably. I don't know if you remember, but about 20 years ago, refinancing commercials were as popular as Medicare Advantage plan commercials were. It was like, it's the biggest no-brainer in the world. Refinance your house for a point or two less, and people were. And they were getting, going from $1,500 a month mortgage down to $1,000, $1,100. It was a big, big difference. And why wouldn't you? So what's coming in the future is good. Now, if you're sitting on a home that you've been in since, and you got 2, 3, 4% interest rate, this doesn't pertain to you. You're not going anywhere. Why would you? You got this low interest rate. But all the people that had FOMO, fear of missing out, that bought houses in 23 and yesterday, they are going to be able to refinance, hopefully, in the next coming months, as the rates will come down. This is also presenting an opportunity from the regurgitated news that this is what I learned. If you can buy a house, or you've been waiting to buy a house and you've been waiting for the prices to come down, while they have been coming down somewhat in South Florida and going up in other markets like in Tennessee and stuff, the housing market isn't crashing. The housing market isn't even close to crashing. There may be those small adjustments and stuff like that, but believe me, they're not going to crash. So what you can do is, and what's being advised, is buy a house now. Because people say, well, who can afford it? The average price is $450,000. Who can pay these payments? Who can buy it? Who's got the down payment? Well, do you really think that the people in California that are looking at $600 to $800 to $1,000, $1 million for a crack house, you don't think that can come to a neighborhood near you? The people in New York, what they have to pay for real estate, $300,000-$400,000 ain't nothing. It's going to continue to stay where it is and go up. It will be, from the regurgitated news, at least 6 to 8 more years, likely 6 or 7 years, before any kind of real, change or real correction in the real estate like happened in '08. But it's not going to happen next year. They're going to reduce these rates. People are going to refi that are at 8% and 7%. And the people that can buy right now, the houses that are for sale, that people want to make money on and get out of, people are going to buy them at whatever rate right now, because they can refi in a few more months towards the middle of 2026 before they do quantitative tightening again and start raising the rates back up. As soon as the inflationary prices come on us again, and they're coming in a lag effect, 6 months after these interest rates start going down, then they'll do the same thing. They'll raise the rates back up again and get everybody back in check. but it'll be several years. But if you can buy one and you want one and you think you need one, you get it now because good news is you can refi. Likely, according to the regurgitated news, you're going to see a lower rate in the coming 4 to 6 months that you can get down. And if it goes down a point or two, and that would bring, if you can calculate it, bring you to a mortgage that is even way more affordable than you're going to try and squeeze out today for a few months until you can do that, then that's going to motivate people to buy up every house that they're already buying them up that's for sale. Because the people that aren't believing all the baloney that houses are going to drop $100,000, $200,000 isn't, well, if you got a $5 million house, a $200,000 drop isn't anything. I'm talking about the average American, the average house being about $450,000. You're not going to see any $200,000 come off of those houses. So don't even think about it. I got the regurgitated news that told me because he saw the crystal ball. So if you can believe any of this, here's the fact. Refinance is coming for you, available soon. Get a lower mortgage. Those that are in the 3 or 4% or 2% now are solid. They're going to just stay there. Damn a new house. And then those that have been wanting to buy a house, you got a little bit of money, you've been waiting for the moment, do it now before the house is sold and they continue to go up, and then refinance over the next few months. That's the regurgitated news. I hope it helps you out. I hope it isn't like completely off base. I hope it isn't like, man, I bought this house for $450 and I was just waiting to refinance it, but now the house is only $150,000 or $200,000 because the market crashed here in South Florida. I doubt that's going to happen. I really do. But so there's the opportunity. Personally, I would only be excited if I was a homeowner already and thought I could refi and I could get a lower payment. As far as still buying one and thinking that I can just refi at the 6.5% there is now, but still having to pay $450,000 and not having the income coming in to afford HOA, mortgage, insurance, and all that. Well, if you don't buy it, then Blackwell or whatever their name is and Zillow, they're going to be buying them up and they're going to be renting them to you, and they're going to be the ones crushing it. Because the only thing is, even if you don't make money and you're not looking to flip it, at least it's a hedge to hedge the inflationary cost. Because if these companies like Blackwell, I think it's Blackwell, something like that, Zillow and them, they buy all these houses, which they've been doing for years now, blocks at a time. And then they rent it out to you as the interest rates, the insurance, the homeowner's insurance, whatever it is that they have to pay more, they simply pass that right on to the renters. So if you would like to be able to just hedge that from being at the mercy of a landlord just jacking you up $500 on your next lease, then if you own your own asset, at least you got your own asset. Even though it's crazy overvalued, and then if you can refinance it and you can possibly swing it, you got two incomes, you got more money than you know what to do with, then you can do that. But that's really at the mercy, is you'll own nothing and be happy. You know that? Google that statement. It's really coming into play. All these big corporations and big, huge billions and billions of dollars of companies are going to be owning everything and renting it to you and charging you whatever they want because you got to have a place to live. So if you don't get yourself something now and call it yours and find some way to pay for it. Now, I'm rolling with an RV, but they could still raise the rates of the cement slab that I sit on. I made a video this morning saying, I don't know if this is my forever home. I don't know. Nobody's promised tomorrow. It's my home for today. I'm not looking to buy anything. I don't have the money. All my money's tied up in cash. So if you got some money, you've been waiting, you got two-source income, you're getting ready to draw that Social Security, you want to buy yourself a little something, you've been renting, you've been waiting, or you want to sell your house, get ready because people are going to be looking to buy them because they can get that lower rate that's going to be coming down eventually, and then they know they can refinance. There's something in the future that they're going to be promised that it will continue to drop a quarter point every month or two, another quarter point, eventually a point or two, and get this thing down to like 5, 4.5, 4 3/4, maybe, before they start jacking it up again towards the end of 2026. Anyway, that's your regurgitated news. I hope it gives you something to ponder. And remember to always crush it.